Thanks for stopping back to Mitch's Quick Picks. Today we're going to go over UFC Rozenstruik versus Gane. If you're new here, we go over the picks first. We just say who we think's going to win, and then we'll talk about the why after. So getting started here, we have Dustin Jacoby, Ronnie Lawrence, Sabina Mazza, Thiago Moises, Kevin Croom, Jamie Rivera, Buena Silva, Nikita Krylov, and Cyril Gane. Those were the picks. Now we're going to talk about the whys. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the whys, the why we think who's going to win what. First, we have Dustin Jacoby to beat Maxim Grishin. Now, I want to start off by saying both of these fights, I think this is going to be a great fight to start the card here in 1 hour, actually. We've got, both of them are on quite the win streak here, with Maxim only losing to Marcin Tybura, very respectable loss. I wonder if that was at heavyweight. I'm actually not sure. Light heavyweight. He got beat by decision. I could see him just kind of being the smaller man there. I'm going to go for the new kid on the block here. I feel like this might be a mistake, and we maybe want to go with the veteran, but at least in fighting in life. You know, he's older. He hasn't been in UFC as long, but at any rate, I'm going to go with age here. 36, I feel like is right past your prime. 32, I feel like you're just getting into your prime. We're going to go with Dustin Jacoby for this one. And next we have Vince Cachero losing to Ronnie Lawrence. Ronnie Lawrence is the pick. We're going to go ahead and talk about why with that one. Let's get out of here. And we have Vince Cachero versus Ronnie Lawrence. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. This one, there isn't much to go off of, but I'm going to go off of just momentum here. We have Ronnie Lawrence, who's winning pretty handedly, and then going into the Contender Series, impressing Dana White, and now he's got his first bout in the UFC. He's trying to impress. He's on a tear. He's riding his train. Meanwhile, we have, not the greatest, a bunch of canceled fights. Casey Kenny, very respectable loss. Not sure who that is. Wins, loses his debut to Jamal Emmers. Actually had his fight canceled recently. But at any rate, I'm going with Ronnie Lawrence for this one. Next up, we have Alexis Davis versus Sabina Mazza. Now, this worked last week, so I'm going to do it again. It reminded me of, what was the fight? I don't remember the fight, but it was a fight that gave us, Macy Barber vibes with what's her name? Modafferi. But the nice warrior, the happy warrior. At any rate, we're going to go with age here again. 23 is pretty young to be fighting, but I think that's not as much of an issue as how old 36, in my opinion, is to be fighting, especially as a female. So that's the pick for that one. All right, next we have Alexander Hernandez losing to Thiago Moises. I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit of me being a hater. I'm not the biggest Alexander Hernandez fan. He wasn't very nice to Donald Cerrone. We all like Donald Cerrone. Very happy that Drew Dober got him. I was kind of rooting for Trinaldo here, I'm not going to lie. At any rate, though, this is, almost right in there in the top 10, top 15 of the division from both fighters. I did go around and read that Thiago Moises thinks that, Alexander is a little overrated, and I would agree. Also, he fights with American Top Team, a lot of great fighters out of there. We're going with ATT in this one in the form of Thiago Moises. All right, next we have Alex Caceres versus Kevin Croom. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been looking at odds, and this is I actually like to not look at odds when I pick fights, but at any rate, this is a weird fight card. Every fight kind of looks like a toss-up to me, so I'm curious about what the odds have looked like. For this one, I am going with Kevin Croom, and I guess I just wanted to preface with the reason is not so great. But one thing about Caceres is he's been in the UFC for a very, very long time, as you can see. And if I'm the UFC, I'm looking for new talent. Talent has a shelf life. I'm trying to push this man here. He literally got a contract after a no contest. I feel like the UFC knows what they're trying to do in trying to push this man. I feel like the matchmakers know what they're doing. I feel like they set him up for a win. Who knows? Maybe I'm being a little paranoid. But on top of that, he was quoted saying, "I can bang a hooker, but I can't smoke weed in Vegas." I get down with that. That logic makes sense with me. I'm picking Kevin Croom. Let's go to the next one. Next, we have Pedro Munoz versus Jimmy Rivera. Pedro Munoz, probably best known for his knockout of Cody Garbrandt when they just started to get emotional and start brawling. Ever since then, he's lost to Aljamain Sterling and Frankie Edgar, which is fine. I mean, very high competition in his last three. But Jimmy Rivera, I've got to go with Jimmy Rivera here. I mean, Jimmy Rivera has lost to who? The champion? The current top contender? A former contender? Jimmy Rivera is a monster. I'm going with Jimmy Rivera here, and this is probably one of my most confident picks on the card, if not the most confident pick on the card. Next, we have Montana De La Rosa versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Now, the first thing I want to point out, something that caught my eye, Montana De La Rosa, she is currently 26, and her first professional bout was in 2014. That was, 6-7 years ago? She was 18 or 19 when she made her professional debut in fighting mixed martial arts. That's just respectable. She has such the experience. I mean, her whole adult life has been fighting. With that said, I'm going to go with Buena Silva here. I mean, she just has more experience. A win over Jillian Robertson. Really, that spoke the loudest to me. Curious about Marina Moroz. I don't know who that is, but definitely in contention. I'm excited to see her fights in the future just based on her win over Buena Silva. I did not see the fight, but I will be watching that later. Other than that, there's really nothing other than that. I'm going with Buena Silva here. Next, we have Nikita Krylov versus Magomed Ankalaev. Now, I'm not going to lie, between that fight and the Alexander Hernandez fight, I feel like these are going to be one of the two fights, if not both of them, that really brick the hell out of all of my picks. I feel like I'm going against the grain with these two, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and talk about why. Now, I went ahead and rewatched that fight with Johnny Walker just to remind me what happened. Johnny Walker isn't known for his ground game at all, but he honestly kind of looked like the Khabib of the light heavyweight division. I've never seen someone take another man down in that division quite so viciously, other than, I guess DC and John Jones, they just crazy wrestling in that department. But Nikita Krylov seemed to have some sort of oppression that you don't see. The Miner, that's an intimidating nickname. Just hard work in the mountains. Meanwhile, we have Magomed Ankalaev. I'm a little worried that a lot of his hype is out of this double win with Ian Kotalaba, which, honestly, you got to give credit to Ian Kotalaba for that. He was very helpful in the attention that those fights garnished, which I think in turn resulted in Magomed having a huge following, because this was a big deal. I mean, this man was dressing up like Hulk, screaming in his face. The fight ended early. It was a great fight. Both fights were great. Although I will say, very impressive record here, experience here. But I'm going to go with Nikita Krylov. And last but not least, we have Rozenstruik versus Gane. I'm going with Gane here. Going with, this is one where I did definitely see the odds just because they were up all week. Definitely going with Gane. Now, it seems like a lot of people believe in Biggie Boy's knockout power, which I agree with you. That's very real. Although I tend to lean on the side that every heavyweight hits kind of hard. I understand that Derek Lewis and Gane kind of hit like trucks, I guess. But at any rate, we have Biggie Boy here. My problem with him is, to anyone that remembers this fight, he was losing that whole fight. And Alistair Overeem hasn't looked impressive against everyone, for instance, but Alistair Overeem was beating him for literally, 24 minutes and I'd say 50 seconds. And then all of a sudden Rozenstruik comes up and just punches him in the face and busts his lip open. We all know what happens. I mean, here, let's just for good times, let's just look it up. Just terrible. Okay, anyway, let's get out of there. Cyril Gane, on the other hand, I mean, just, he looks terrifying. really, that's what it is. I'm going to just hop on board early here. We have a terrifying, undefeated, they both beat JDS. How did Rozenstruik beat JDS? They're just finishing. It's so sad. JDS is such a great, and he's just giving back to the sport and building these heavyweights' names up. But we're calling for a continuation of the undefeated train that is Cyril Gane. At any rate, those are the picks. Thanks for tuning in, and tune in next time. Comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Thank you.